Hello and welcome to Floorplanner. My name is Bob. I'd like to take the next few minutes and give you a tour of the 2021 redesign of Floorplanner. So let's begin with our dashboard. Looks a little bit different than you may have seen it in the past. You've got a little bit more of a vertical aspect of it over here on the left-hand side. We're sitting right now on our dashboard and you can see our profile information. You have a lot more data showcasing in an editor window over here. So all the detail about yourself and your profile are here on the left-hand side. And whenever you need to get back to this page, you'll just be clicking up here in the upper left-hand corner when you're on your other web pages. So also up here, you have, of course, as you're used to, all of your projects are stored here in the cloud, your first row of information of also where you're going to go ahead and create your new projects. And you also have here in the first row of information of your exports, your PDFs, your JPEGs, and your PNG images. If you scroll down a little further, you have some inspirational images through Instagram here. You also have all the latest updates that are running currently within Floorplanner. You can run a whole history from the most current updates and go back in time. And also you have some instructional videos here at the bottom. Left-hand side, you can go ahead and select to showcase your projects and or all of your projects instead of just the first row. And you can also select all of your exports to see them all at the same time. So let's go back to our dashboard up here at the top. And let's actually open up one of these projects and take a peek. Um, let's look at this project. Here's one project just listed right here. Currently, here's the name of your project. Little different than it used to be. Now we're kind of a single click, double click feature. So if we click on your project right here, just click on it once, you'll notice that you get this really cool editor window over here on the left-hand side. There's a lot more information in there now, all at one glance. So you can see the name of the project. You can see how many floors are actually designed, multiple floors on the project. And you can also see how many designs, there are multiple designs within that project. Your project level, and or if you want to make modifications to your project level, you can do that at this point. There's also a cool tab over here for edit details. If you needed to go ahead and select this and maybe modify the name of your project or add the exact address information, you can modify that information here. You can go up here and go ahead and save that information. There's also the features in here for sharing, for collaboration, and copy to other users. Really great information in here. So let's go ahead and close that out for a second for this editor window here on the side. And get us back to our dashboard. That was a single click, so you can go ahead and get all that information about your specific project at a glance. Now let's talk about the exports. So you have your exports up in the cloud, your PDFs, your JPEGs, your PNG images. Same idea. If you click on your icon just once, so let's click on this one project right here. We'll just do a single click, left click. Notice on the left-hand side now you have, again, an editor window over here that will give you all the detailed information about that PDF, JPEG, or PNG. And what's really awesome is here you can actually select the download feature. So you can go ahead and download a copy of your PDF, JPEG, PNG from the cloud and get a copy actually saved to your device. So I want to make sure you're comfortable with projects and your exports and how you can navigate them with these new single clicks. So let's go ahead and actually open up a project and take you on a little tour of some of the features once you're in the space. So let's go ahead and open up this project right here. I'm going to go ahead and double click. Goes out into the cloud, finds my project. And voila, we are open. So this particular project is a level 2 project. It has the ability to function with multi-floors and also with multiple designs. And there's some new graphics now. Makes it a little bit easier to be working in multi-floor and multi-design projects. Up here in the upper left-hand corner, you have a tab right here that'll open up, and you'll notice that you can now view what floor you're on at a glance in the upper left-hand corner, first floor, and there's a second floor, so it's really easy to hop between the floors of your multi-floor design that you're working on. You also have over here a mini map outlining the different spaces in here. So if we want to go ahead and click on a specific space, we can go ahead and actually zoom in on that space, or zones. You can also see that we're working currently with one design in the space. If I click on the designs, if there were multiple designs, you would have multiple thumbnails here. And if you want to go ahead and create a new design in there, you can just go ahead and create it here. And close that up for a second. So if we wanted to go ahead and duplicate the design that we're working on here and say I wanted to do a different configuration maybe of the living room, we could go ahead and let's just say we're going to go ahead and duplicate this design. And there we go. We can go ahead and actually go into our designs and see what we have here. You have two in here right now. You can see the different icons up here. You can see that we have the copy and with this new copy that was created here. They're both identical at this point. And if I have the copy that I have right here that is opened, we could go ahead and modify that. Edit its details. And we go ahead and just say that this is design option 2. So there's no doubt when we're looking at both designs that we'll have both names in place. And we could just toggle between those two. So now that I've got, let me try the right design open right now. There's the design option 1. There's our second design option. I could go in here and go ahead and start modifying this. I could start deleting pieces of furniture. Maybe I didn't want to showcase that piece or this piece. And I could hit my save button and go back into our designs. And you see that I can toggle between the one that has the original, which had the actual sofa in it, or the second design that I took those pieces of furniture out. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. Again, we can keep creating multiple designs. Go back to your original, make another copy of it, and make edits and rename those features. Now, beyond there, we can go ahead and talk about even doing multi-stories. Now, right now, we talked about having a floor 1 and a floor 2 that's already existing in the plan. Personally, I like to go ahead and make a copy of my first floor to make my second floor so they're completely in alignment with each other. And right now, I do have a 2-story plan going on, so I'm going to go ahead and hop from the first floor and go up to my second floor. And you can see it's very easy now. You can see it up the upper left-hand corner. Really clearly defines exactly which floor I'm sitting on. And as I'm sitting on my second floor right now with the original first design for the second floor as it's laid out, I can go ahead and view this in 3D. And I'm looking at this with the bird's eye view currently, kind of your dollhouse view, looking straight down. That's this feature up here in the upper right-hand corner. It looks like a bird's nest or a kind of an atom sort of shape. And if I want to go ahead and center this, I could go ahead and hit this zoom extents button over here on the left-hand side. It looks like a bullseye. If I left click on that, it'll center my project. And I could go ahead and make sure that I have my settings for 3D. And in settings, I want to say show all floors below. I'm on the upper floor and I want to see the floors below. So that is turned on. And if I go ahead and left click with my mouse, I can start sweeping around my space and see the multiple stories. Because I'm on the second floor and I'm looking down, I can also see the first floor below. And right now we have the cutaway walls turned off, which means the exterior wall will actually be turned off so you can see right inside your rooms. And if you go to your settings, you can go ahead and turn cutaway walls off. And you can twirl around your space and look around and navigate. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the first floor for a second. So let's go back into 2D. And in 2D, let's go up here and go ahead and make sure we go back down to our first floor. And I want that furniture back in there. Remember, I had 2 designs going on in here. So I could go back to my original design that I left that sofa in there. I can toggle between the 2 different thumbnails over there on the left-hand side. I'm going to go ahead and close that out for a second. And we have our multiple rooms there. I want to talk about, give you a quick tour. So while we're in the space, of course, you are upper left-hand corner. This is how you had your tab for your multiple floors and your multiple designs. Next tab down, very familiar, is your hammer for construction. Still the draw room, draw walls, draw surfaces, placing your doors and your windows, placing your structural items, and also putting in a background that you can go ahead and trace. I actually have one in this plan right now. I can just turn on the background that I was tracing, hitting my B command on my keyboard, and it'll turn my background on. And I can also hit the B key and turn it off because I was actually tracing the plan earlier. Next tab down, excuse me, you've actually have the information, and you are able to assign the room type. You know, rooms don't know what they are until you actually give them an identity. Like I've already identified this one room as primary bedroom, and this open great space down here is dining room and living room. You can also place labels. You can put text boxes inside Floorplanner. You can place architectural symbols. You can drag and drop them. You can also draft a line. If you ever need a line, a dashed line or a colorized line, a single line versus the three-dimensional that you're generating, this is where you can drop it in. Also dimension, you can always do a point-to-point dimension. There's a lot of automated dimensions that are running in Floorplanner, but you can always make your own specific dimension. Next tab down is all the interior design features that are available to you. This is where all the 3D assets are actually located. You can go ahead and view them by different subcategory groupings of those assets. You can do your search up here for all categories if you want to look at all 150,000 plus assets and typing your search words for what you're trying to find, and you can give it a little bit more detailed information, white sofas, etc. For anybody that is a Plus account or higher, you're working with favorites currently, and this is where your favorites are now stored. You have the star feature up there. That's where your favorites that you've actually located, as you find an item and you star it, they'll be stored up here in your favorites under that star. If you go to the next tab down below, you have all of the paint features that are available to you. These are paint palette colors, and you can go ahead and find your colors. And now it's a new feature for 2021, upper right-hand corner. You can go ahead and actually favorite your materials now. You can favorite your paints, and you can also favorite your materials, and you have your favorites list here. This is also where you can custom mix your paints. If you can get the hex number from your Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams, your company name, you can go ahead and enter that number, and Floorplanner will custom mix your paint colors for you. Next tab down are all of your materials. It looks a little different. We used to have icons across the top. Now you actually have a pull down that has all the verbiage all spelled out for you. Wood, carpet, stone, tile, wallpaper, and patio materials. And again, with any of those materials that you're going to drag and drop into your plan, you also have these stars again. So you can go ahead and actually favorite your materials. I want to go ahead and take a second and hop into the 3D for a second and show you how to navigate around inside your 3D space so you can actually move your assets while you're in 3D, where you actually have that, total interior design view. Let's go into 3D. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to that bird's eye view, looking straight down to our space, much like a dollhouse view. And if you take a click to this little walking man in the upper right-hand corner, that actually puts you inside your perspective. And you can use your mouse to go ahead and reposition your camera. I can use my arrow keys on my keyboard to go ahead and pull back, go to the right, move forward a little bit. Now this is where I think this is really exciting for 2021, is that you can see on the left-hand side, here's all the information about the camera that you're working on at this point. Now, if you want to go ahead and start moving items in 3D instead of hopping to 2D and viewing it in 3D, while you're in 3D, you can actually select an item, and it will now do a halo on the outside of it to identify that you have selected that piece, and you can see the in the editor window on the left-hand side, you can actually modify your width, depths, and height. You can actually change the dimensions in this editor window right up front. You can also change the raise from floor height. If you were going to be lifting this to a different elevation, to a specific dimension, and you can also change its rotation if you knew a specific rotation difference. Or you can go ahead and actually just drag it visually. I can left click on the item that's identified and start moving it right in 3D. And if I wanted to do more of a keystroke versus data entry over in the editor window, I could actually, with a couple commands, go ahead and hold my R key, R as in rotate, on my keyboard, and I can actually rotate the item. And if I let go of my R key, I can then move the item around again. And actually I have some vases here, these items right here, that if I needed to change the height on those, I could elevate them, change their elevations, either entering it by data, but I can go ahead and hold my F key, my F as in float, and you notice that I can actually lift an item up in the air and place it on another shelf. This is really great for accessorizing when you're trying to move items around and you're doing an entire shelf unit, put all your accessories visually. So you can actually see them while you're in a 3D model exactly how you'd like to place them. So you have a lot of multiple controls now while you're in 3D to actually place your items. Let's go back into 2D for a second. Okay, I also want to talk about materials. There's a really cool feature that came out just a few months ago that, currently you can certainly, go to your materials, and while you're in materials, you can go down to wallpaper, and you could find from the inventory within Floorplanner and drag and drop these materials to your wall. You can now upload your own material into your project. So if you have a specific wallpaper that's current, or a specific mural, piece of artwork, or a company logo that you need to put onto your wall, you can go ahead and actually find those JPEGs or PNG images, preferably if you're doing wallpaper, like a seamless sample, a full pattern sample of your wallpaper, and you can actually upload it into your project and go ahead and actually wallpaper the entire wall with your custom image. So let me show you how to do that real quick. You would think it's probably through materials, not quite. You actually are, while you're working in a 2D plan, you can actually select the wall that you want to put that new material on. I'll select that wall real quick. And you have two sides of your wall, of course. There's an inside and an outside to the wall. And now you can actually view those two different sides of the wall over here in the editor window. You have the side one, and there's the side two. Side two happens to be on the outside. Side one is on the inside in this room. And I'm going to go ahead and add a new custom material to be placed onto that wall. And the way you do that, knowing this is side one, here's side one, here's side two. With side one, you have these picture windows on the far right-hand side of those rows of information. You want to select that little mountain image with the sun in the background, that picture. And that's how you're going to actually upload your material. And for the first time, you have a straight on elevation of that interior wall that we're going to add the new material to. And I've gone ahead and already uploaded a material, but this is where you would actually choose the file off of your device, your JPEG or PNG that you've already located. And I've already uploaded one down here, which is a wallpaper that is a seamless sample of a current wallpaper I've just took it off the internet. And at first, it will try to fill the entire wall space, which is beautiful, but that's not exactly what I'm trying to achieve. So from fill, you have some other pull down menu options. One of them is called free, which means you can actually change the dimensions of the sample. You could do this visually, knowing that you know how high your ceiling is already specified, and you probably could make some assumptions as to what the size is. I do know what size I'm working with this particular material. So if your vendor was kind enough to tell you the actual digital sample size, that would be beneficial, or you're just going to be eyeing it up to make it so it looks proportionally correct. And being a seamless sample, the next feature besides we went from fill to free, the next in the pull down menu, you want to go ahead and tileize it. You can tileize it horizontally, tileize it vertically, or in both directions. Say tile in both directions. You have your entire wallpaper at that point. You also have the ability while you're looking at this wall, if there's any items that you've actually placed on the wall, other art items, the fireplace, mirrors, etc. You can actually now turn on this feature down here in the bottom that says move wall mounted items, and you can actually reposition these items. So right now I'm going to leave that off for a second because I'm really concerned about putting that wallpaper on the wall. It looks good. As long as that image looks well at this point, you've completed your task. You just need to close out this particular window. That material is now applied to that wall. And if I go back into 3D, we'll go ahead and get back inside that room in 3D. And we are, and you can see I'll just use my arrow keys to pull back a little bit and maybe change my field of view on my camera so you can see a little bit more information. And I'll move to my right and twirl around back. And as you can see, this is really awesome. Now we've actually uploaded our own custom image to that wall. Hope you enjoyed this overview. This is bringing you up to speed with some of the really great new features and the new, more vertical look to your dashboard. I hope you all have a great time for 2021 and keep exploring. Thank you. Have a great day.